Hey everybody, welcome to our very first episode of the Bee Hive Podcast. You can be anywhere on the internet right now, but you chose to be here with us and we really appreciate that.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody, from your grateful hosts, Samantha J. Boyle and Bidad Youssef.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. We are excited to start our very first podcast. We've been talking about this for a very long time.
We've literally been planning this podcast for probably about a year. Well, not really planning like solid plans, but planning it in our brains.
Just planning about starting it, what we're going to talk about, what we're going to discuss, to the point that it's creeped into our personal lives and we'll be discussing something and we'll be talking about something and Sam would be like, wait, we need to talk about this on a podcast.
Because the thing is, we have so many interesting conversations, I feel like, about so many interesting topics. And it would be a misfortune for the whole internet to not hear.
A disservice.
Yes, a disservice. That is the exact word I was looking for. A disservice for the whole internet to not be able to hear
the
conversations that we have. Well, it is what it is, sorry to say. If we have interesting conversations, that's just the reality.
Yeah,
and
true.
On top of that, I also really wanted a place for my funny side to come out, because I feel like I don't really show my humor online very easily. It's kind of hard to show your humor when you don't have someone to bounce that off of. Whereas on a podcast, obviously, Vidad's on this with me, and so I'm able to open up a little bit more and show you guys a different side of me that maybe you haven't seen before.
Samantha is really funny.
Thank you so much.
She has a lot of moments where I just look at her and I just think, what is going on? Why is she like this? To the point that I am cracking up. And I knew she was funny, but I didn't know she was that funny.
But the thing is, okay, you're really setting the bar really high for starters. Can we just bring that down a notch?
True.
The thing is, I'm not funny in what I say. I don't have jokes.
Yeah.
But I'm just funny in what I do. The way that my brain works.
It is pretty funny. All the stuff she'll say is just like, why are you even thinking about that?
Yeah.
But
and also my trauma's funny. The trauma itself is not funny, but the way that I handle my trauma and emotional baggage is funny.
When we're not 5 minutes in and she's already bringing up her trauma. Well, you know what, Sam? How about you tell the pod 5 things that they might not know about you?
What? That's so much pressure.
Because, honestly, what they see is basically everything that's on Instagram. They see everything that you're delivering to them based on a professional level, but they don't really know the personal side of you. Okay. All right, three things.
Okay, 3 things. I think I can do that. So first thing is that I'm actually not very talkative.
Yeah, no.
Obviously, online, my whole job is talking to myself and talking to a camera. So people assume that I'm very, very talkative, and I am good at talking. I just don't enjoy small talk, and I don't enjoy talking about nonsense. If I don't have something that I feel like is beneficial to say, I would rather just not talk.
To the point that she said, do you know how much I hate editing? And I was like, why do you hate editing so much? And then she grabbed me real close, not even kidding. And she's like, because I hate the sound of my own voice. And I was like, whoa, relax. What is going on in your life? And she goes, Bill, I'm over my own voice. I hate hearing it.
Yeah, there's a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ tells us about how it's better for us to only talk when we have something to say.
Yeah, Sam really took that.
And it's really, well, obviously I'm paraphrasing his words, do not quote me. But yeah, he was basically explaining to his companions how it's not a good idea to talk just for the sake of talking. And so yeah, I really took that to heart, and so I don't talk unless I have something to say.
To the point my family are like, Sam, do you have an input? And she's like, nah, not necessary.
Yeah, but the thing is, Bilad's family, they're very different to me, because they are all very, very loud, and they're very, very talkative, and they're very, very opinionated. And a lot of the time I don't have an opinion. I don't care about the topic. And I genuinely, in my head, my brain is blank.
And at the start,
they're here thinking I'm judging them. I'm critiquing them.
And they think she's rude.
Yeah, and they think I'm critiquing them. And really, in my head, it's blank. I'm just in a bubble. I'm just existing. And I'm so happy about it.
Little they know there's just nothing going on in your mind. You're not even thinking about anything.
Yeah, because the other thing is that I really enjoy peace of mind. Like, I really enjoy my own thoughts.
Yeah,
I really enjoy thinking.
that's true. We'll be on car rides and would be driving for 40 minutes and she hasn't said a word. And I'd look at her and just be like, honestly, if you don't start talking, I'm going to go insane.
Yeah, because I really enjoy I enjoy myself. Like, I enjoy my own thoughts so much.
What a lovo.
I'm just saying, I think about so many cool things.
See, well, that's the point of the car ride where if she doesn't start talking, I just put on a podcast and just zone out myself.
The next thing that people probably don't know about me.
2 more.
Oh, this is so much pressure.
Okay, what they might not know is that I have titled my wife. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Game of Thrones, but Daenerys is the mother of dragons, and I've titled my wife the mother of bees. And the reason is her entire brand. I don't know if she did this deliberately or it just happened to be a coincidence.
Yeah, it just happened to happen.
And everything, and that's how we got the name for the podcast, by the way, the Bee Hive Podcast. Everything just coincided with each other, and it was perfect. And her entire brand became something about bees.
Yeah,
and now here we are, the Bee Hive
my
Podcast.
name is Samantha J. Boyle, so Sammy B, people call me. And then a bee just became who I am, and it became a representation of me. And so most projects that I branch off to, I like to associate it to bees in some way. So whether it be the Bee Hive Podcast, which you're listening to right now, or whether that be something like my life coaching brand, Nectar & Co., which is related to bees in the sense that bees, nectar, such and such.
She wanted to be so on brand that she married me, Bilal.
Yeah.
So you know, that's the whole reasoning for that.
100%, guys. That's why I married him. Not because he's a good person or anything.
By the way, the third thing, do you have one? Because I definitely have one.
Okay, Bill's giving you guys an information fact sheet on me
They definitely don't know this about you.
What?
Do you want to say one?
No, go.
Okay. Inshallah and up one day we're going to have children.
Yes.
And I really do not know how Samantha's going to do when our little baby is crying at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and she has to wake up from her slumber sleep. Because Samantha loves sleep.
Yes.
To the point that if she doesn't get sleep, she's grumpy. She needs a nap during the day.
Okay,
And
first of all...
No. Her naps aren't naps. They are literal, like... She basically went to sleep. She would sleep for 3 hours in a day. 4 hours, like it's nothing.
Okay, you're making it sound like I do this every single day. Like, I'm so lazy. I do this all the time.
She went on a trip with my sisters 3 weeks ago, and I hadn't heard from her in like 4 hours. And I swear, I knew she was sleeping. And she messaged me and she's like, hey, sorry, just woke up from a nap. And I was like, yeah, already knew that.
Okay, so first of all, I will say, taking naps is a sunnah. Taking naps is a sunnah.
It's sunnah before Maghrib. Not Dahr and Asr and every other time of the day.
I think it's actually a sunnah at before Asr time. I don't know when the sunnah is.
Yeah, but you've made it all day.
It doesn't matter.
You've remixed the hadith.
Doesn't matter. Point is, it's a sunnah to take naps. Not sure what time of the day it's a sunnah to take a nap. But when Allah tells me I'm tired, that's it, bedtime. But can I also just say, I do need a solid sleep, probably more than the average person. However, my life is exhausting. The trauma inside my head is exhausting.
Guys,
I'm
yesterday...
carrying a lot of emotional baggage, okay?
Back to the trauma. Sam, it's not that bad. Yesterday, we drove an hour to the beach. We drove all the way to the beach. We finally got there. I look at Samantha, and she has this look on her face. And I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, I'm just so tired. Do you want to go down? She goes, no, can we go back home? So we drove all the way back home.
Yes, so we just went on a 2-hour drive. It was nice. I was thinking about so much stuff that I loved.
So yeah, that's the third thing. She really, really loves sleep.
But you know what? Like I think I've spoken about this on YouTube before. Or I've definitely spoken about this on Patreon before. I feel like my whole life, all I wanted to be was a mum. So when I finally do have babies, I feel like I'll be okay waking up.
Inshallah. I hope for our
Like,
baby's
that's not
sake.
to say that it's not going to be hard, but I think that I'll love the baby so much it'll be worth it.
Inshallah.
Because I can't imagine. Like, I love Khadija so much.
That's true.
Just so cute and she was a baby.
Khadija's a niece, by the way,
Yes.
that she literally cries when she thinks about when she was little.
Oh, you guys. She's basically my child. Well, she was like my first experience of like as close as you can get to motherhood without being a mother, really.
Yeah.
Like my other nieces and nephews, and I've always had children in my family. I've always been around children. I've always looked after children. But there's nothing been like my relationship with Khadija.
Yeah. Khadija, she really loves Khadija. It's really sweet. And especially when she's showing me snaps. You know how snaps show the memories? Sam will just be sitting there crying, looking at her phone, and I already know what she's like crying about.
Because
Like,
the
here
thing
we go,
is,
another video of Khadija.
you always hear people say, "Oh, I didn't appreciate my baby when they were at this age." But the thing is, I appreciated her at every single age. Like 6 weeks old, 6 months old, 1 year old. I always used to say, this is the perfect age that she's in, and I would appreciate it so much. And yet, still, it just passed me by so fast. And I just loved it.
You about to cry?
Yes, I just loved it.
Sam. Okay, don't cry.
And now she's 4 years old. How?
It is really
I
sad.
can't deal.
Oh, she's got to go to school soon.
Oh, next year. The year after next year.
You're
Thank
definitely
God.
crying.
Bro, when I heard she was gonna go next year, I thought I was gonna die. Alhamdulillah, it's the year after.
Thank
She's
God.
excited. She wishes she could go next year. However, I'm glad
Auntie
it's the year
Sam.
after.
Auntie Sam's trying to hold her back. Do you have any other things that they might not know?
No, that's pretty much it. Well, I'm sure there's a lot,
All right.
but
Well, there you go.
that's it without getting too deep. Let's get to know you, Bill.
What do you want to know?
Okay, when it comes to Bilal, I feel like I haven't really spoken about him online pretty much at all. Like, no one really knows anything about him. He's kind of this mystery guy. And
Mystery
so-
guy you're just married to.
Yeah, and so I really wanted for a space to be developed where he could share himself and he could share who he is as opposed to me sharing who he is. So yeah, who are you?
That's a deep question. I didn't expect to be hit with that sort of question. I'm a Muslim. I would say. I'm a slave.
To Allah or
Of
to
course,
me?
we're all slaves.
Or to me?
Oh, jeez.
Well, that's how you're making it sound. I'm a
I think
slave.
that's shirk. I don't know about that.
I'm a slave, he reckons.
I know, jeez. No, I'm a Muslim. I'm a soldier of Allah. Let's put it like that. And let's leave it like that.
Wow. It's very heavy.
That's pretty fine. Well, I reckon that's pretty good. I can't really deep dive that question because I'm going to be here for 4 hours.
Okay.
You know?
So you want to give us a summary of your life?
The summary.
Just a very brief summary.
Okay, we'll start with my parents. My parents migrated from Lebanon to Australia in the 70s. Oh my God, I can't believe it was that long ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, they migrated from Lebanon to Australia in the 70s. I was born in 1993.
He's the youngest of 7 children.
Youngest of 7. Samantha's also got 7 in her family as well. Basically have lived in the same house that my dad brought in 96. My dad brought the house in 1996 for $98,000, which is insane now because when you look at the prices of houses now compared to 1996, like 6-7 times.
Yes. And not
What-
just that, but Allah really blessed his dad because his dad didn't have to deal with anything to do with interest, anything to do with
Alhamdulillah.
that. And his dad was able to actually buy the whole house without having any debt and
Can you,
without having any mortgage.
can you imagine how
Alhamdulillah.
baller that is though?
Alhamdulillah, imagine.
Like going to the bank and saying, yeah, outright, bang, let me buy
I
the
know.
house.
I know. Like it's unfathomable for somebody in this day and age unless you're literally a millionaire.
Yeah, literally. So alhamdulillah, my siblings basically lived in a flat, and they all complain about how small the flat is, and I've got this big house, so I laughed at them and was
Bill
like,
can't relate because he's been living lux his whole life.
I know. Whereas Samantha acts as if because I got the basic essentials as a child, I was somehow
It's not a
spoiled.
basic essential to own your own home.
Well, sorry, but like
It's a privilege.
Samantha acts as if I'm some spoiled child because I got, you know.
He's not a spoilt child, but he's privileged. And I think sometimes he doesn't register how
No, I'm
privileged
not.
he is.
No. Okay, let's not paint this narrative as
Okay,
if
you
I'm
guys, to put in
privileged.
perspective, he's been living in the same house since he was 3 years old. I have moved probably 7, 8, maybe 9 times since I was 9 years old, and I'm only 22.
Yeah, but you don't have a normal life. That's not normal to other people.
Okay, well, maybe what I'm going through is normal and what you went through isn't normal.
Okay, well, yeah, if you spin it like that, you can spin it like that.
You
But
guys can let us know which is normal. Is it normal to move around a lot? Or is it normal to live in the exact same house until you're 27 years
no,
old?
I'm sure that's not normal either. Living in this exact same house, for your whole life. But can I just say, Samantha has this fun way of trying to dull a moment by reminding you that she was poor when she was a little Samantha J. Boyle.
First of all,
And
I don't do it to anyone
no,
except you. I don't do it to anyone except you. And you bring up things from our childhood, like, okay, I mean
Like
childhood
food.
as in like our generation. The childhood of our generation. You bring up so many things about it as if I can relate to it. But I can't relate to it. I
Like,
can't relate to it.
sorry I had chocolate milk as a kid.
Yes, I didn't. We got strawberry or chocolate milk on a very rare occasion when it was a celebration day.
Oh, so Samantha has this way of bringing up stuff where I'll be like, hey, remember this episode? Or remember this TV cartoon on TV, sorry? And she'll be like, oh, no, sorry, I couldn't afford a TV. I couldn't afford the batteries that were in the remote for the TV.
Okay, you're exaggerating.
And I would just sit there and I'll just be like, wow, sorry for having the basic essentials as a child.
He's really exaggerating, you guys. We had a television. We had batteries in our television. We didn't have toys with batteries in them because batteries were too expensive.
See, I'm not lying.
But we had batteries in our TV, at least. Like remote. But no, okay, a real life example in regards to what Bill is referring to is yesterday. Right, so we're at Bilad's best friend's house.
Do you want me to explain it?
Yes.
So we're at my best friend's house. His name's Taha. And Taha from public school was getting $5 every day. So
Primary school.
primary school, sorry. Was getting $5 every day from kindergarten to year 6.
His parents would give him $5 a day to spend at lunch.
And then in high school, it's like he got a pay rise. He started getting $10 every day from year 7 to year 12. And he was talking about how he used to not eat all day so he could save his money to buy like the latest video game or something. And Samantha was just sitting there.
I
And
just
could
went
see
quiet.
her. Huh?
I just went quiet.
And I know my wife, guys. I know my wife. I see her protesting. I see her registering. And I said the joke for her. And I was like, oh, Taha, you used to get $10 every day and not eat. Samantha used to just not eat. She didn't get money. She just didn't have anything to eat. And then Samantha was like, oh my God, that's so true. That's exactly what I was thinking. And I'm like, well,
Okay,
there you go. That's
you
my
make
wife.
it sound like I was like, I came from an abusive home. My mum would starve me.
I know.
No, so the thing is, you guys, I grew up with my mum and she was on welfare. So we didn't have money. We didn't like have money to spend on, I don't know, things that people would consider normal. So we didn't have like juice in the house. We didn't have soft drink ever. We didn't have snacks. If we wanted to take lunch to school, we would make a Vegemite sandwich.
Samantha makes me feel bad for having orange juice as a kid.
It's a luxury. And so, yeah, we didn't have much growing up. And so, yeah, when we did want to take food to school, we were taking a Vegemite sandwich and that was it.
I said to Sam once, did you used to go to the movies as a kid? And she looked at me as if like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we didn't really go to the movies very much.
Yeah.
We didn't have the money for that.
Yeah, but alhamdulillah, you had like, let's not act like you didn't have anything.
No, my mum really did bend over backwards
Yeah,
to try to provide for us and give us as much as she could. We had everything that we needed at the end of the day.
alhamdulillah. And let's, as I said, I don't want to paint the narrative as if I'm some spoiled brat that got everything because I didn't. Alhamdulillah, I just had a good childhood, and my older sister, who basically like was like my mum. My mum, um,
Did we mention that you were the youngest out of seven?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and my sister like took on the role as my mum, not because my mum didn't want to. My sister was just like, okay, here's my son now, and yeah, she basically gave me everything. She spoilt me to the point where like I was always getting gifts and stuff, or like birthdays were like a really big deal. But it wasn't like, you know, I took it for granted. I really appreciated it, and I really appreciated everything she did for me. Whereas Samantha, on the other hand, thinks I'm some privileged white boy.
No, I don't think you're a privileged white boy, but you did get a lot as a child. And I think also a lot of it has to do with, well, is likely has to do with the fact that you are the youngest as well.
Yeah,
And so most of your siblings were older, most of your siblings were grown up, and so you were able to get a lot more
yeah,
than probably some of your other siblings got.
yeah. That's true. That is true.
Okay, but anyways, back to your life story.
So yeah, currently studying to be a PDHPE teacher. I'm doing my masters in education at University of Western Sydney. I am really excited to start teaching. Inshallah, I've got about a year and a half left of my masters. I just can't wait to get it over and done with. I was supposed to have my graduation this year for my bachelor degree, but that didn't happen due to COVID.
What was your bachelor degree?
I did a degree in health science, which was basically biology, anatomy and physiology, biomechanics of the human body.
A whole bunch of words that we don't know or understand. So,
Like a lot of health components, a lot of community building. But there was a lot of stuff that was practical based, so it was really fun. We did a lot of excursions and we did a lot of fun stuff that you can't relate to because you had a miserable university life.
yes, because I went to a proper university. Bilal went to a baby university that's basically
How
like high
dare
school.
you?
It's basically like high school. It's super, super small.
Guys, Samantha's just jealous because all my teachers love me and there were only like 20 to 30 people in my classes, whereas she had 300 people and she was basically just a number and no one really knew who she was.
And now you're finally experiencing how that feels because
Yeah.
you realize that you're a number as well and no one cares about you. Teachers don't reply to your emails. Teachers do not know who you are. And
Guys, you know Billy Madison where he shakes that kid and is like, don't grow up? That's me right now. I hate it.
Bilal is finally experiencing real
No,
university
it's honestly
life.
horrible. It is horrible. I hate it. The teachers are so rude. They take 50 years to reply to your emails. They don't even like help you out when you're in a moment of crisis. I remember I had an issue in my old university, and I honestly went into my teacher's office and laid down on the floor and had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, that would never happen.
That would never happen at uni.
I don't even know where one of my teacher's offices are at university.
And my teacher, you know how they have like they all sit in a group, the teachers, and they just literally laughed at me. And we ended up having a chat about the assignment and all that. Basically, my assignment deleted the day before it was due, so I had to redo the whole thing, and I did a lot of work on it, and it was my final, and it was a really big deal. And yeah, I
Did they
basically
give you an extension?
no,
Wow.
no, because
I'm surprised. Your university would probably give you an extension just for fun.
the reason they didn't give me an extension was because the class that I had, it wasn't that teacher that I was having a nervous breakdown to.
Oh.
And that teacher knew well and truly that I just stuffed up and accidentally deleted it, so they didn't give me an extension. But like, I didn't expect an extension. I just expected to
Receive a pity party and then be on your way.
yeah. I just needed, you just gotta let it out sometimes.
Right.
And I let it out. I didn't cry, but I did sulk. And then I went and did that 3,000 word essay with a lot of coffee. And I don't drink coffee, but that night I did drink coffee.
Yeah, Bilal doesn't really like coffee.
Yeah, I don't like anything with caffeine. It kind of like freaks me out.
He has caffeine in it.
Yeah, but it's like it's very minimal in comparison to what coffee is.
And so does Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I don't really drink Coke.
Well, soft drink in general.
Yeah. But
Anyways, um, so I want to talk a bit about what we're actually going to bring to this podcast, what they can expect moving forward. What type of content do you want to create?
I want to create a fun environment. I want to create an environment where people can come here to get away from the troubles of their life.
But we also want to be really real.
Yeah, of
So
course,
there's
of
going to be some
course.
heavy conversations as well. Not everything's going to be light and breezy.
I found that the things that I love listening to the most are informative, but also fun and very easy to listen to. It's not like you're listening to a lecture.
Yeah, so that's the main thing that we don't want our podcast to be is we don't want it to feel like a lecture. We want to feel like we're having a conversation with our friends and we're just having an open discussion. So that's what we would really like for this podcast to be about. So no matter what the topic is, which we do plan on talking about a lot of topics that people usually don't speak about, and I feel like people are very shy to speak about online, but we
Yeah,
do want to talk about a lot of real and important topics. Um, and we want that to be an open conversation, an open discussion,
yeah,
not ever coming from the perspective of we know absolutely everything in the world because we don't.
yeah. We really don't.
Um,
And in Islam, there are a lot of things that people just don't like talking about because they see it as like taboo to talk about, or you shouldn't talk about it. But like, this is real life. These things happen, and
Not just Islamically, but also just socially and as a society,
yeah,
and online in particular, because we do live in such a censored world. Like for example, on YouTube, the bulk of the content creators that you see on YouTube will not talk about specific subjects because they know that that video is going to get demonetized, myself
yeah,
included. It when you know that you've put so much effort and so much work into a project or a video that you've created and you're not going to get any compensation for that video, it can be disheartening, and you know that people aren't necessarily going to click on that video because it's not a very searchable content piece, and it's not
yeah,
something that's light, and it's not something that's going to distract somebody from the problems. It's going to cause somebody to have to face their problems. A lot of the time people won't create content like that because they know it's not going to get the response that they want,
yeah.
whereas we want to create content like that.
But what we're gonna do to try and like also balance it out is you want to talk about Patreon?
Okay, so Patreon, for those of you that don't know what it is, just in case any of you don't have a clue, Patreon is basically a subscription based platform where you can subscribe with a monthly membership fee, and you can subscribe to your favorite content creators. And so I actually have a personal Patreon account where I upload content for my patrons, and it's exclusive content from the creator themselves. And so I upload 4 times a month. So every single week I'll create a video for my Patreon members, that is separate and not found anywhere else on the internet. And so that's a way that I connect with a smaller audience that are interested in seeing that exclusive type of content. So when it comes to our podcast, because like I was saying, the internet is really, really censored, we're actually not monetizing our podcast at all. And so we're not receiving any income from it. And so in order to keep it up, we have created, or we have decided to, I guess, put it on Patreon.
Yeah, put it on Patreon.
Yeah. So we've decided to use Patreon as a means to monetize ourselves while still being able to talk about the topics that we do want to talk about and be real and raw with our audience. And so
We're also gonna,
you,
yeah,
what?
no, go on.
You, if you are interested, can sign up. If you would like to support us, you can sign up for a just $3 a month, and what you'll get is a whole exclusive Patreon podcast every single month. So one podcast every single month to sign up for $3. And that's just a way of you supporting us, enabling us to keep creating free podcasts as well. And also you're getting the added benefit of the exclusive podcast every single month.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you want to add anything about that?
Um, it's not easy in today's society with everything. Everyone's so sensitive about everything, so you feel like you have to tiptoe around topics.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, it's really scary. Like,
Feels really worried that it's going to get us cancelled.
I'm worried I'm going to get my wife cancelled. Honestly, she has such a big following, and I'm worried I'm going to get her cancelled by something stupid I say. So I just want to make a massive disclaimer. Don't associate anything I say with Samantha J. Boyle. That's completely different. I can say some things that are a bit, off the handle. Yeah.
If Bill says something that I don't agree with, you guys will know that I don't agree with it. Let me just say that. Start by saying that. But also,
Uh,
yeah, Bill and I don't see eye to eye on some things. And so
Yeah.
you'll definitely hear that dynamic in the podcast, and you'll definitely hear an open discussion when he says something that I just do not agree with at all, and vice versa. And you'll be able to hear firsthand how we resolve those discussions, or
those
sometimes don't resolve those discussions and just move on and agree to disagree.
those disagreements happen a lot more often than people know, and we do them the right way because we just choose sometimes to agree to disagree.
Because it's little stuff, it's not relevant a lot of the time
Yeah,
to our lives.
but this is as you know, our very first podcast. So please don't judge us off this podcast. We're
No, do
learning.
judge us off this podcast, but just be lenient with us.
Yeah, be very lenient, guys, please, because this is
Especially if there's any audio issues, anything like that, please, mercy, forgive us.
I'm so
'Cause we don't know what we're
self-conscious.
doing.
Yeah, I'm so self-conscious about my breathing. I'm like freaking out, thinking, holding my breath at certain points.
Me too. You're not the one that breathes like a dragon.
Honestly, we're learning on the fly. We don't really know how to go about doing a podcast. It's the first time we've obviously done a podcast.
We don't even know how to upload this to
Yeah.
every streaming service
Like,
yet.
I'm a bit worried that we're going to do all of this and then it's going to be for no reason.
Yeah, Charlotte or not.
If you guys are listening to this, it wasn't for no reason.
If you guys have made it this far, I hope you're enjoying.
Yeah.
And if you have any content that you would like us to create, any topics you would like us to discuss,
Yeah, please
then
send in
feel
the
free
topics.
to let us know.
There's a lot of things that we'd like to talk about.
Yeah, we
So-
have a really long list of conversation topics. And by the way, I also do just want to mention quickly, this is not going to be an Islamic-based podcast. So we don't want it to be like a full lecture series. But we are Muslims, and so Islam is important to us, and so Islam is automatically naturally entwined in our conversations and in our topics in general. So I'm sure that no matter what the topic is, whether it be parenting, whether it be abuse, whether it be trauma, Islam will be included in it, but
Yeah,
Islam
because-
won't necessarily be the focus of every single conversation.
Exactly. Islam is obviously our lives, so it's going to be brought up, and we're going to bring up a lot of hadiths that are paraphrased, and we're not scholars, So when we do bring up hadiths, if they're not exactly word for word,
But we won't bring up fake hadiths.
yeah, no, we're not going to do that. That's horrible.
Yeah.
But
And if you ever want to know where something is from, you can reach out to us as well on our Instagram page. For example, if you want to know where that hadith that I mentioned about the sunnah of
Yeah.
sleep, then you can reach out to us on our Instagram page, which is the Bee Hive Podcast, and we can always respond back to you there as well
yeah,
and share a little bit more insight.
inshallah.
But yeah,
This is the first pod that we wrapped up.
are we wrapped up?
How many minutes are we at?
We're at 35 minutes. Sounds good.
Sounds good to
Okay.
me. Thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it. Inshallah, as we said, we're going to be doing weekly podcasts, and
We didn't say that.
we're not.
We're going to be doing weekly podcasts.
Well, now we did say
That's
it.
the
So
plan, you guys. So you'll have a podcast every single week from us. We haven't decided which day will be our uploading day, but every single week, inshallah, you will have a podcast from us, as well as the one exclusive podcast for Patreon that will be included on top. So if you sign up for our Patreon, then you'll be receiving 5 podcasts a month. And if you don't sign up for our Patreon, that's completely fine too. You'll be receiving 4 podcasts.
all support is good support.
So true. Your listen is a good listen.
Exactly.
But anyways, with that being said, thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you for listening.
Again, like Bilal said at the beginning of this podcast, you could be anywhere on the internet right now, and thank you so much for spending the last 36 minutes with us. We really do appreciate it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Take care. Be
That's
safe.
all. Good day, good morning, good night.
If you're in COVID hotspots, please wear a mask.
Yep, okay. COVID hotspot, wear a mask. Good day, good morning, good night.
Sanitize.
Assalamualaikum.
No, seriously, sanitize, please.
Oh my god, Bill.